Well, my editing skills are crap, but can the same thing be said about The Mummy? Stick around and find out. Wow. Wow. Bow, 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 bow. I was gonna sing Monster Mash. That's the closest I could come. I was like, what the crap would be like a Mummy song? There's no Mummy song. If you know a Mummy song, let me know. And I'll try to sing it for the sequel when I review that. If I review it, we'll see. All right. Hi, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of The Mummy. The IMDb synopsis reads, though safely entombed in a crypt deep beneath the unforgiving desert, an ancient princess whose destiny was unjustly taken from her is awakened in our current day, bringing with her malevolence grown over millennia and terrors that defy human comprehension. I don't know if they defy human comprehension. Like, oh crap, bunch of crazy birds. Oh crap, bunch of like dust blowing. So I don't know. And also, I think I might take issue with her destiny being unjustly taken from her. I think according to the laws of the land, her destiny was not taken from her unjustly. She kind of dug her own hole. Anyway, I won't get into the story in case you haven't seen it yet, but I'd be curious, what your thoughts are on that synopsis. I'm not sure that the unjustly part makes a lot of sense to me. Anyway, so let's talk about just the story, the pacing and the tone. I wasn't sure what to expect with this. I like monster movies. I like, John Carpenter's The Thing. I like Predator. I like Aliens. I like Jeepers Creepers, I love finding out over the course of the movie what the nature is of this crazy monster that's hunting people down. This is not that kind of monster movie. In fact, I don't even know if I would classify it as like a monster movie that we're used to. It's more like an Indiana Jones type supernatural adventure. It's got actions and explosions and dangerous ancient supernatural powers and kind of fish out of water heroes who provide comic relief through their commentary amidst the chaos. It felt like the result of a bunch of ingredients that some suits in offices somewhere in Hollywood thought would sell well, including a self-objectifying, I think, female mummy largely used for her sex appeal rather than... I don't want to say that the choice of using a female mummy was all about the sex appeal. I think they used her a lot for that. But I did appreciate... I was like, oh, okay, she had a backstory. I don't know the classic story behind the normal classic mummy monster, if there really is one, or if he's just some random... Pharaoh. I haven't seen really any of the classic movies or read any classic stories about the mummy, But I thought that her backstory was interesting. But it was a bummer that in many ways they still just used her as this self-objectifying sexualized character. The tone is visually dark. Pretty consistently, but the movie is visually dark, but the tone is a mix actually of dark and light, or dark and like fun. I never found it scary. I never felt concerned for the heroes, even when some of them die. The story felt mostly like a skeleton to just hang action scenes on top of. For me, it was a popcorn movie in the sense that the thing I enjoyed most was my popcorn. The most interesting part was the ending for me. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it sets up future movies that may involve like good monsters, quote unquote, like Jekyll, and another one that I won't name, hunting down quote unquote bad monsters, as if they're going to be like dark supernatural superheroes of some kind. It felt like, in the future we'll have to band together with our monster powers to fight other monsters. It was interesting, and that could work. I don't know. I'm curious to see what it'll look like. Tom Cruise's character is left in a surprising place that makes me curious what the next movie in this dark universe brand will be about. Speaking of Tom Cruise, he just plays his humor-flavored hero rather than, oh my gosh, I think the guy that's trimming outside is like right next to my window. He might have gone away now. That's what I get for doing these uncut. Tom Cruise plays his humor-flavored hero rather than his more serious hero character. Am I going to start shouting? Everyone else does what is asked of them, I felt like in the movie, but the script meant that I didn't care about anyone, despite, their solid performances. As far as stunts and visuals, you might have seen in the trailer, there's a kind of this cool anti-gravity stunt in a plane crash sequence. There's plenty of standard quality CG in the movie, but the stunts and visuals didn't do anything to increase the intensity of the experience for me. I think they were, at best, just kind of like interesting to look at. Okay, so I always try to ask myself when I'm engaging in entertainment, okay, is there anything of worthwhile philosophical, moral, or spiritual significance here that might bring about worthwhile thought or conversation as a result of taking part in this? For me, I really had to be just listening and watching, to see if there was anything. There was, a couple minor things that aren't even worth mentioning right now, but one thing I'll mention is based on a remark that Dr. Jekyll makes. He says that the Egyptian god of death, named Set, is known in the Old Testament as Satan. And this is kind of like, the fact that they're doing this is very much in keeping with lots of franchises like Indiana Jones or shows like Supernatural that bring together multiple monster myths into a single universe. But when doing that, because these myths are drawn from, different bits of folklore and stuff like that, you usually, in order to get them all in the same continuity, have to embrace either relativism or a form of ignorant agnosticism. Again, the story of these two beings, Satan and Set, if we're going to say that they are, actually they're the same person, you didn't know that, but that's what's actually true. But the thing is, the story of these two beings, as explained in their respective sources, couldn't be much more different. So to believe Jekyll, we have to assume that one or both sources of info on these beings are unreliable or embrace some kind of logically self-defeating relativism. I actually think Jekyll's remark could have just been cut because so much of this movie isn't about thinking but just kind of enjoying the spectacle of the ride, if you can enjoy that kind of thing. Now, I have no idea what your tastes are in movies, but if I were a time traveler, I would go back in time and say, Vader, skip. If anyone asks, you could try to recommend it to them if they like the tone of the Marvel movies, if they enjoy monster flicks, and if they don't need to be scared by monster flicks in order to have a good time. As for you, just wait and see what the next Dark Universe trailer looks like in this new branded continuity. And if it looks good or interesting to you, then maybe go back and watch this one first to catch up. In the meantime, maybe take that $8 you would spend on this movie in the theater and put it toward that Van Helsing Diablo clone on PS4 you've been kind of curious about. It's rated PG-13 for violence, action, and scary images, and for some suggestive content and partial nudity, which basically amounts to a brief butt crack of the lady, and then like there's a really blink it and you'll miss, kind of silhouette of her shadowed and stuff, so you can't see details from profile view where she doesn't have any clothes on. All right, those are my thoughts. I'd love to get yours in the comments below. Stay tuned in the coming days for my reactions to E3. I'm very excited about that. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, want to share it, and want more videos like it. And visit spiritblade.com where you can get our weekly official podcast and also check out what we're offering there as far as our imaginative sci-fi and fantasy audio dramas. Finally, there is a ton of content, boom, and community over at christiangeekcentral.com. So I hope you'll join us there soon as we continue to geek out. Where is it? There it is. And seek the truth.